All right, let's see. So we're gonna talk about some geometry stuff, but I want to do a couple things here. You may notice this menu popping up. That's called the Lightbox. If you want to get rid of it, you just have to hit the comma button. I think there might be a thing here in Preferences, Lightbox, Open at Launch. That might work. I don't know if you don't want to see it. And there's some other stuff like there's a thing over here by default. What's that called? I don't know, whatever. Thumbnail maybe, camera view, right? I don't know, whatever. So if you don't want that stuff, you just Google whatever it is and turn it off. If it's not off by default with your custom user interface. Okay, so let's see. If you don't see the tool menu or you see some menus here that you didn't ask for, you can just click this little circle and that'll close it. You come back over here and click the circle and drag it over. You can also, if you happen to be left-handed, you can click and drag like that. It's all totally fine, whatever you're comfortable with. And let's see. So now let's go ahead and we'll just click on Sphere 3D. If you click on this icon here, the S, you're going to see three options before we go to Sphere 3D. There's going to be Quick Pick, which is just recent stuff. 3D meshes, which is what we'll be using predominantly, and then 2.5D brushes, which we will use never. This is the 2.5D brushes is like a kind of a holdover from a very old version of how ZBrush used to be, and I never use it, so I'm not going to talk about it. But the 3D meshes are pretty useful, and we've got some sphere 3D, cube 3D, cylinder 3D, cone, whatever. Like all this stuff is probably going to look fairly familiar if you've got any experience using 3D software. This is all primitives essentially. So we can go ahead and just, for starters, we'll grab the star. If I click and drag, I can draw one out. But I can't actually edit it. I can't do anything with it. And if I click and drag again, I'm just going to end up drawing a bunch of stars here that I can't do anything with, which is not super useful. But if I come over here to the edit button and I turn it on, I can now, let's see, I guess it's this little guy up there. That's my star that I am currently editing. The rest of these are essentially just sort of dropped to a background as an image that I can't really work with. So I'm going to hit Control N, very important, Control N, to remove inactive tools. So you can see this is called the tool menu, and this is a tool. And then you can see over here we have subtools. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Probably actually not right away, but eventually we'll get to the subtools. For now, we're just working on tools, which is kind of like you could think of a tool. If you're familiar with Maya, a tool would be like an entire Maya scene. So you can have multiple objects in a Maya scene. You can have multiple pieces of geometry in a tool, and each piece of geometry is called a subtool. All right, so how do we move the camera? If I just click on the empty space outside of the geo, I'm going to be rotating around a pivot point. And you can see, I guess in this case, my pivot point is probably this vert right here, because what ZBrush will do is wherever you click on the geo, that's where it's going to pivot the camera. This is a very useful way to make sure that you're looking at the part of the geo that you actually want to look at, and fairly easy to figure out. So if you want to rotate around the object, you just have to click in the empty space and drag the mouse, and you'll rotate around whatever pivot happens to be active. If you don't see your geometry, you can just tap the F key and it'll frame it. F for frame, I believe, or fill or whatever, or fit. So anyway, just tap the F key and that'll frame your geo. And if you want to pan the camera like this, you just hold the Alt button. So Alt is going to give you the ability to scoot stuff around. We aren't changing the geometry here. Whoa. I think my tablet got a little excited. By the way, you should always be using a tablet. You can use a mouse, but it's going to remove a huge amount of finesse and subtlety from your stroke, because it's always going to be a 100% intensity, and you don't get any nice fall off or anything. So it's highly recommended, and if you're taking one of my classes, required that you use a tablet. I use a Wacom Intuos 4 Pro Small. Actually, I guess it's not a 4. Maybe they got rid of that. That's maybe an old piece of information, but this is a Wacom Intuos Pro Small, and it's great. So highly recommended. Anything that you have, I'm sure will be fine so long as it works, and you will know whether or not it works. Okay, so let's see. That's going to be panning. If I want to zoom, I hold the Alt key down, I drop the pen, and then I release the Alt key, and I go up and down with the pen, and that's going to give me the ability to zoom in and out. Again, that's going to be Alt, pen down, release Alt, and now I can zoom by moving back up and down with the pen on the tablet. So those are the camera controls. If you want to orient the camera so that you're looking, like if it's at some angle and you want to look at it from an orthographic view, which is basically like top, front, or side, you can just hold Shift and then click somewhere on the geometry and it will snap to the closest orthogonal view, right? So, and you might notice that I don't actually have perspective turned on. In order to enable perspective, you just push this button, or you can tap the P key. All of these things here, well, most of them anyway, are going to have a hotkey associated, which you can see very easily by just mousing over the button. So in this case, if I want to enter or exit edit mode, I hit T. Draw mode is going to be Q. Let's see, perspective, turning that off and on is P. Polyframe is going to give us our wireframe and give us a color for each poly group. We don't have to worry too much about what that means right now, but the hotkey for that is going to be Shift F. I tend to use hotkeys just because they're faster and I'm used to it. So, but if you're as you are learning these things, you can, like, some things don't have hotkeys, but the ones that are more common definitely do. Okay, so let's see. That's geometry. We're going to go ahead and talk about the primitives. So anything that you create here in your 3D Meshes menu is a primitive. It's not actually editable geometry, but because it is a special kind of geometry, you can come down to this initialize panel and it's going to give you some options. In fact, it looks like this one might not be so willing to do that. Let me go to Sphere 3D, and this is maybe a better example. So I'm going to turn on my polyframe, Shift F, and you can see I can change the number of divisions that I have procedurally, right? So right now the sphere is just being created by some kind of a rule set, and if I modify the inputs, I can modify what the geometry looks like. Change the size, flatten it, whatever, right? And you can change the way that the axis is aligned. Let's see if I do this, right? Anyway, so that should give you an idea of how these things can be manipulated, and all of these things have their own initialize options, right? So you can do whatever. Like these things are that kind of a novelty trick. I never really mess with them that much, but it is possible. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Again, that's primitives, right? So this the 3D meshes here. I'm going to grab Sphere 3D. So if I wanted to actually modify the geo, I need to make it a Polymesh 3D, which is right here. So as soon as I do this, I want you to kind of keep an eye on, let me go ahead and I'm going to hit R, and that's going to clear up some of this extra stuff here. So as soon as I hit Make Polymesh 3D, what it's going to do is it's going to add a new prefix to this called PM3D. This is now geometry, which means I can sculpt on it and work on it in a way that is much more effective. The initialize stuff completely changes. Now it's essentially gone. I mean, there's some stuff in here that we can talk about down the road a bit, but for now we get all of this new stuff here in the geometry tab. So if you don't see a nice, well-populated set of options here for the geometry menu, it probably means you just need to come up here and hit Make Polymesh 3D, because if you look at the primitive version, geometry just has a couple things in it. So here's our primitive Sphere 3D with our options to modify what that geometry looks like procedurally in the initialize menu. And here is our Polymesh 3D, which is actually geometry that we can play with. And we'll start talking about some of these options in the next video.